Let's jump straight into the heavyweight division. We've seen a recongregating or a re-amalgamation of Don Charles and Daniel Dubois. Maybe a bit of a surprise. We had Don Charles on the show the other day, but we also spoke to Daniel Dubois earlier on my show with Jim White. Let's have a listen to what Daniel was saying.
Just sit down, had a meeting and family meeting, and just thought, like, because I've had the most success with Don, you know, we decided to do that U-turn because, you know, we've had the best nights with him, and, you know, I feel like he knows me. He knows me as a fighter and as a person, so it just makes sense to go back. And we've had a little break, and now I'm ready to get back to it.
Daniel, can I ask you, why did you split up in the first place?
I think it was just everyone needed to go away and think about things, really. It wasn't even a deep thought-out thing. We just, a quick, rash decision might have been, I don't know. But what I can say is that I'm glad we're back together. I'm glad I'm going to be working with him again. And, you know, he's the right guy, right heavyweight trainer for me. I've just scratched the surface. I've still got more bundles or more inside of me I'm going to drag out and climb to the top again, get my belt back. So, yeah, that's what we're on at the moment.
You've been with trainer Tony Sims in the meantime. He said he and you just didn't seem to gel. Was that about right? Yeah,
you could go with that, yeah. I feel like as the person I am, the character I am, Don is going to be right for me. You know, Don's the right guy, and I'm glad we've made that decision now. It's time to move forward with him. He will help me, I will help myself, and, you know, get back to the glory days. That's what I'm on. That's what I really want to do, get back to the glory days.
Let's hope so. And when will we see you in the ring again? When do you hope to fight again?
Hopefully soon, maybe in a couple months now. We've been talking about fighting, so maybe in April or something. So I'm just weighing at a bit now. You know, about to start cancelling, so all systems go ahead now.
And you have a name of an opponent, or is it too early?
Too early. I can't say at the moment, but we're working on it.
There's been talk, Daniel, of Fabio Wardley. Would you relish an opportunity to fight him? Yeah,
definitely. I'll do whatever it takes to get to him and get my belt back, man. They've been keeping it warm. I want to get my belt back, so wherever it takes, I want to get it back.
Obviously, we had Don in the other day, and we sort of gave him the opportunity to speak his mind about it, and he was quite diplomatic about it all, wasn't he? Disappointedly diplomatic about the end outcome, that he was currently out of the camp. He's now back in. Do you think it's a good move?
I think it's a good move, certainly for Daniel Dubois. I think that, you know, what Don done with him, not just inside the ring, building his confidence, but outside of the ring as well. You know, I think that close relationship that Don Charles built with Daniel Dubois over those or couple of years that they were together was quite important for building Daniel as a character, as a person. I think it's a good move. You know, I think that Daniel wanted to go out there and search for what else was out there. But if you look at the history of Daniel Dubois after defeats, and you go back to Martin Bowers, you know, and then he lost his first fight with Martin Bowers, he changed to Shane McGuigan, then he had a short time with Mark Tibbs, then he went with Don. So it was not a surprise to Don Charles after the defeat that Daniel may go searching for something else.
You spoke to Don since the announcement?
Yeah, I spoke to him earlier on today, actually. I spoke to him yesterday as well. He's very pleased about the whole situation. He's happy to get Daniel back. He said, look, now I can set out to achieve what we wanted to achieve. Yeah, we lost the fight to Alexander Usyk, but we're talking about an all-time great here. You know, let's accept it. We just weren't good enough on the day. But he still believes that Daniel, at this age, at this stage of his career, he can still go on, improve and progress. And I think he's right.
Well, he certainly said that, didn't he?
The relationship with them two, Simon, is very good. You know, if you look at what Daniel Dubois is looking for, Don Charles does fit that bill.
Well, we'll see. I mean, before I get into Johnny and Duke's opinion, we had both Sam Jones and Don in the studio recently. Now, with differing views on certain subjects. Let's have a listen to them, and then we can pick the bones out with Johnny and Duke about what these two boys said. Have you established order in the space?
It's not, honestly, I promise you, it's not about establishing order. It's about, it's not going to happen again. They did it before the AJ fight. It worked. He looked $1 million. It happened in the Usyk fight. It didn't go to plan. It was the wrong thing to do. Everyone, we just
all signed up for that, have they?
We just move.
Everyone's
forward.
On that page.
Yeah, it's just, it's not gonna. It's not. I think you'll see a more. There'll be no big entourages.
The same conversation's been had where you say, listen, let the trainer be the trainer, let the manager be the manager, and you be the father, because sometimes his father's involvement overturns the manager or the trainer.
I think that's blown out of proportion, honestly. I think that...
It's not blown out of proportion, mate.
No, I do. Like, it
yeah,
is.
but it's not, though.
When we've discussed opponents now going forward, it's all of us together.
There's nothing I can categorically look at you in the face, yourself. There's nothing that Sam Jones is going to change. When he said that there's going to be no more gatherings, there's not going. When we get given a fight, we will sit down and discuss. This is what we've always done. This is what every outfit does. From my observations, Daniel needs his father close by.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, it really does.
We've seen that, yeah.
Okay, right. Irrespective of Mr. Sam Jones coming here saying this is going to change, nothing is going to change.
Do I have a different jacket? When you look at the dynamic, Johnny, do you see it gelling well between, say, Don and Sam Jones and the reincarnation of a relationship that seemed to work well for Daniel, then Daniel jettisoned it? Let's not lose sight of it. Don was told he wasn't wanted, and now he's been brought back into the fold. How do you see the dynamic playing out now, reintegrating him at the same time as working with Sam?
I think in this game, loyalty is everything. And I'm surprised Don has been so trusting and forgiving to actually say, come back and be as loving and giving as what he was in the first place with Daniel. Because if he's done it once, it means he can do it again, as in leave him. And he will have been hurt when Daniel made the move and Sam Jones has now come on board, singing and shouting, making all the noise that he has to make. That's what his position is to do. I agree with Don. He'll have no say in regards to how Daniel carries on about his business. You've got to speak to Mr. Stanley. You've got to speak to the old man and do it that way. So by the sounds of it, Don and Stanley, he understands, I've got to keep the old man sweet. I keep the old man sweet, I'm still in.
Do you think
Don was very respectful afterwards, and I couldn't stand when he never threw anybody under the bus afterwards.
Well, that's what I was going to say, because when Don came in the studio directly afterwards, and you remember this,
yes.
Don was not happy, and I spent some time without necessarily asserting myself in this conversation saying, just be careful what you say, because opportunities for you may come again in the future. So don't give the media what they want, which is you spitting feathers about the manner in which you might have been treated. Just perhaps keep your own counsel, say within reason what you want to say, but don't leave anything on anybody because it might come back and bite you. When he came in the studio the other day, he was very pro-Daniel on everything. I'm not suggesting he was being sycophantic, but everyone that we picked for Daniel to fight, he went, walks through. Fabio Wardley, not even a fight.
So the deal had been done.
I don't know whether the deal had been done, but Don's perspective was that he was disappointed with how he'd been treated, felt it was unfair, but he didn't serve anybody up. Do you think anything's going to change in the dynamic?
Nothing will change at all.
Nothing
So
at
you
all.
had to address it because if he didn't address it, then you'll know he's been turned down. So he had to address it. I think in regards to moving forward, he'll do exactly the same again. But he's now wary that this could happen. He's now wary that the dad, he drives the bus.
But they must have come knocking back on his door. I mean, is that the right assumption?
I'll tell you one thing, with Tony Sims, my personal opinion, the reason why he's not with Tony Sims, because Tony will take no
Well, that's what I was think.
And so I think you stay at the gym, and that doesn't work here. And so that being a back and forth, say, you want me to train your boy, that's my job. Get out.
Right. I think
that's why I think he's back.
I think at the time of the split, Don was very happy to let Daniel go and search for something else because he said, look, listen, he'll soon recognise that what we've got here and the way that we work and with the involvement of Stan, love it or not, and that is a talking point, and people will talk about that, but he's here, and that's his father, and that's his sort of comfort blanket.
So he's learned
Daniel
to work
likes
with,
that in there. It's always been that way. It's very unusual.
I don't think. I think we're rewriting history. I don't think Don was as philosophical about that. He was very happy to let him go on his own way and find his journey back.
All right, let me rephrase that.
I take your point.
He accepted.
I take your point.
He accepted
I take your point.
that he was going to go, but he said there was always a chance, hence why he was being diplomatic, that Daniel would come back because
it's always
he
better
felt
not
that he
to
built that relationship, and not just built him as a fighter, but as a person. You go, and then that's happened. The door. So
it's always better. It's always better probably
ajar.
not to burn relationships, specifically if you're not captain of your own ship and you might need relationships in the future. Probably not better.
And this
to
is
burn
what
them.
Tony couldn't afford because Tony he has pedigree, he has history, he has success with other fighters. So therefore, if something like the last fight happened on his watch, it would affect his reputation. Yeah. So he's like, no, this is my reputation I'm dealing with. So he's just one fighter. Whereas for Don, the most successful fighter today is Daniel. Absolutely. So he's thinking, I've got to hold on to this and try and hold it down and build up my stuff.
I think it's a well-deserved bring him back into the equation. Duke, I wanted to ask you about. The suggestion is that the next cab off the rank is Zhilei Zhang. Do you like that fight? I mean, we've heard a lot of who he might fight and who he might not fight, but do you like him going in against Zhilei Zhang as part of a rebuild?
For Daniel Dubois.
For Daniel Dubois.
Perfect. Zhilei Zhang would be the perfect opponent for Daniel Dubois to get his confidence back.
Yeah.
I mean, Zhilei Zhang's, he's a good fighter, but he ain't great. And that's the sort of fight that Danny would obviously look to boost his stock, get himself back on track, and if he gets a win, then he's right back in the mix, and then it's a question of where does he go from there. He will need, just my opinion, 2 or 3 fights before he starts talking about Fabio Wardley. Again, that's just my opinion. Because, Fabio Wardley's not an opponent. I keep saying it. He's a world champion.
Not to be taken lightly.
No, you can't take him lightly.
Madison Square Garden, January 31st.
He's coming to win. I'm coming to win. So let's make that happen. He's from Brick City. I'm from the concrete jungle.
Madison Square Garden is when those paths finally meet.